Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. Happy Thursday, and welcome right here to Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you for the next couple of hours, breaking down everything you need to know going into week 4. We've got Thursday night football tonight, Adam, a game that we probably should have gone to just for the cotton candy burrito alone, but it's fine. We'll get through it. If anyone's going tonight, please send us some food pictures because I love to see what's going on there. But we've got news to get through, Adam. We're going to go through, we're going to start with some start-sit questions here throughout the day. But we've got rankings, risers and fallers. Got to go through some survivor picks as well. And, of course, take questions all throughout the show. How you doing? And go Mariners. How are you?
Yeah, congrats to your Mariners. A hell of a run here
and
win the division.
Really?
I do have a couple of Mariners on my fantasy teams as I'm looking to win some championships, so definitely rooting for Cal Riley and Jorge Polanco to be specific.
Gosh.
But yeah, it's a fun time in baseball right now with 4 days left in the regular season.
It's the best. The start of October is just like some of the best for just sports overall. But yeah,
you got hockey
so
and
fun.
basketball about to start too.
Coming back, and then you've got, playoff baseball is just something. I know we talk about baseball here on the show sometimes, and we'll get into fantasy, but playoff baseball just feels so different.
Well, it's going to be a
so
lot better for you this year than me. I had my run last year. I don't even know if the Mets are going to get in. If they do, it's going to be a quick exit. So I'll be rooting for you.
There we go. You can, root for the Mariners. Everyone can jump on the bandwagon, but it should be fun. Bought a ticket last night, ticket home, so we'll see. Need them to keep going.
So you're gonna miss work, huh?
No. Adam,
Okay,
I'm a company person here.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm gonna go on a Saturday. I'm gonna leave on a Friday, go on Saturday, come back really early on Sunday, and not miss any games.
Okay.
Look at that dedication to the craft. Anyways. Yeah, go Mariners. That was super fun to watch last night. Oh man, first time since 2001. I was crying. I was just like, oh, it was good. It was so good.
People
Good
were
vibes.
tweeting, "Is Kendall up for this?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a big event.
Yeah,
She's
I saw
awake."
it. You've started a movement here that I don't enjoy, but I was awake. No, I'm just kidding. I like the back and forth banter, but I was awake for that one, and yeah, it was awesome. So we'll see how far it goes, but yeah, playoff baseball and just October in general for sports all around is just such a good time. Good vibes here, and hopefully we get good vibes tonight. Seahawks taking on the Cardinals. I think we will. It'll be a good game.
Yeah, it's a divisional game, short week. Obviously, Seattle's looked very good so far. The defenses look good. They're coming off the big win against the Saints. And the Cardinals, it's just it's the
bad.
same.
I know.
The offense just it doesn't look much different than last year.
No, which is really Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, not good. I thought that was the person. I didn't have that many shares of him going into this season because I just said, you know what? Again, at the price, he was expensive.
Yeah,
I thought
he would
we
be
would get the
cheaper.
discount. Yeah, and you come in, and I thought actually he was one that I was the most nervous to not have enough shares of. So I said to myself, it's, at the end of the day, it's fine. I don't have that much going into a couple weeks ago starting the season, but he's averaged 11.3 fantasy points over his career, and that includes the first 3 weeks of 2025. He's got a 22% career target share, which isn't bad. But we say it all the time, Adam, but I really want to emphasize, it just feels like the chemistry between him and Kyler Murray, and we have to look at how Kyler Murray's been playing. It just feels like a disappointment. So, again, I was nervous about not having enough of him, and now I feel very much okay. And listen, we're early in the season, so things can always change down the line, but it just doesn't feel like he's downgraded. I think he's a wide receiver 3, and if you have him, you've been disappointed.
Definitely, you have been disappointed. He was a player where I was trying to look at the most optimistic outcome, and every time I was on the clock, I could not click the button. It just said where he was going. I couldn't do it, and I was with you where I felt like this could be one that you regret not going to draft him. And then watching week 1, I'm like, oh boy, here we go, because it was 5 for 71 and a touchdown. And then the last 2 weeks reminded me why I could not do it. I mean, there's a lot of combinations here. I mean, the Drew Petzing offense is a big problem. I mean, we saw it last year. What did they do? They didn't change anything this offseason. They didn't bring in many new players. It's basically the same guys. Now, we felt good about Trey McBride because that's the one constant. You know he's going to get peppered with targets, but you're seeing it already with Harrison. We got 3 games now. He hasn't had more than 6 targets in any of those games. He had a couple of bad drops last week, including one that was obviously over the mid, no, along close to the sideline. No one near him in the picture, alone, and he dropped the pass. And look, it can happen. Receivers drop passes all the time. You can't have that happen, though, especially since he doesn't get the volume that we want. So, yeah, it's Kyler Murray again. I didn't draft him anywhere this year. It feels like it's going to be up and down again. It's only 3 games, but it's the same from what we saw last season. Nothing much has changed. Another ugly performance last week, and that was a divisional game against San Francisco as well. So, yeah, it's tough to feel good about much of this offense. Trey McBride for sure. And obviously, Trey Benson sees his stock go up with James Conner, unfortunately, out for the season.
Yeah, Trey McBride actually is the number 4 tight end in utilization score. And again, when I mention utilization score, that's live at fantasylife.com from Dwayne McFarland. But he leads the position, 27% target share. Has got 13.7 fantasy points. That ranks 4th. And I think he's still a good bet to finish inside the top 3. That's kind of how we were drafting him. I expect that to happen. I think he eventually in the coming weeks is going to start distancing himself from other tight ends. But he's obviously a top 3 play the rest of the way. You're always going to look at him as a top tight end. And yeah, like you said, Trey Benson on the other side. We've talked a lot about him, so I know that people know if you have Trey Benson, if you spent all your fab on him, you're going to be playing him. I think mid-range RB2 is what you look at the rest of the way, and you hope that he's able to take over this backfield because they're going to give him that. So he was already making an impact too, Adam, before the injury. That's the big part here, is that he was already involved, and that's something that James Conner told us before the season was going to happen. He said, "Hey, this is I'm not just going to be the one. There's going to be 2 ones here," and he was not wrong. So we've seen it before. And then after James Conner's injury, we saw in week 3 he handled 87% of the snaps. 71% of the rushing attempts, and then 50% route participation. So we expect that and more week in and week out now without Conner.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how much Amari DiMercato gets used. We did see him come in.
He's going to get a little.
I know. I hope it's not
going to be involved.
I hope it's not too much though, where it scales back from Benson's receptions and that lowers his floor a little bit. Now this is a short week, so maybe you see him a little bit more this week, but because Benson was getting the passing down work mostly when Conner was in there. So you hope they just don't put that role completely on DiMercato. He had a bad drop last week too. So, but yeah, if you have Benson, he was going like round 10, round 11 in a lot of leagues that I played in. A lot of people were pretty optimistic on him. I mean, part of it could have been Conner being older too, and they were thinking that eventually Benson could take over.
Yeah, I got him in one of the FFWC drafts when after I drafted James Conner, and I think I took him a little earlier than most because I just wanted that was one where I just made sure that the handcuff for Conner, I always had it. In others I always try, and sometimes you're just not able to get him, but that one I was like, I definitely need to get this guy. But yeah, for Amari DiMercato, that's why I said, hey, if you can't get Benson or if he's gone, which I know a lot of people listening, he was already gone. Amari DiMercato, I mean, we've seen him before in this kind of in the potential role that he could have. Obviously, it's going to be small, but you got 58 carries in 2023, 2024. You didn't get much. You had 24 carries there, but receptions you had in 2023, you had 21. 2024, you had 16. So I think there is a little bit of a role for him there. Again, it's not going to be a big enough role where we say go ahead and start him this week, Adam, but I think with bye weeks coming up, if he does continue to get that work, especially like you said in the passing game, maybe he could be someone that fills in, but we're not there yet. Don't do it yet. Not now.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. Please, unless you're really desperate, which I know, Adam, some teams, I've seen some, and some are mine, but not to the same extent, but I feel so bad with some of these teams. You draft Conner, you've got CeeDee Lamb, you've got all these, you maybe have a T. Higgins that he's not injured, but you have to significantly downgrade him because of his quarterback play. It's brutal out there.
It is. I mean, then there's Brian Thomas as well. I mean, there's a lot of landmines out there. Even Drake London has not been what we expected so far. So yeah, there's a lot of players drafted early. I mean, I cannot tell you how many trades people asked me about trading away Chase Brown. I mean, I can't believe it. Every question yesterday was, should I trade Chase Brown for this? Should I trade Chase Brown for this? I was like, wow. And I get it. Like, he's had huge volume and done nothing. A lot of it has been the offensive line. He's constantly getting tackled before he can even move. Uh, it was a bad matchup last week against Minnesota. I mean, that's the thing. We talked about Jake Browning and how he was good in 2023, but it was the worst matchup that you could ask for to start off going against Minnesota. We know what that defense can do. So you know that it'll get better for Cincinnati.
You hope, right? Maybe
I
it
mean, the
won't get
schedule,
better.
the schedule
Oh,
coming up is
okay.
tough.
Yeah. I was like, you hope it gets better. I don't know. Some of the things that I was seeing with Chase Brown has been kind of alarming, right? Because the weird part is, or not weird, but just he's dominated the backfield. You don't have to look at like the stats or the volume there because he's got the snap share, he's got the attempts, he has the target share, he's got everything there. But then you also look into it and you say, well, only 2% of his attempts have gone for 10 plus yards. And I know when we talk about efficiency, we talk about it a lot with these running backs and we say, oh, okay, efficiency, like it can, it can change it any single week. Any given week you look and you say, okay, now they've gotten a lot better. But it's just been a little bit weird for him. He ranks 25th out of 25 in yards per carry for backs with at least 30 attempts this season. It's you hope it turns around, but if you're trying to sell him now, you're going to get nothing for him. He hasn't given you any fantasy points. He's
Right.
averaging 13.7.
Look, and I think I have him maybe one league, and it's because I was not getting him based on where I drafted, and I said, all right, I have to get him now, and I took him early
Maybe going
second round, and I wish I could have that back
Maybe
right
going
now.
forward, you should stop doing that.
Yeah, I know. It's just because like he was going so high, he kept moving up draft
He
boards.
he was towards the back half of the second round, but it was always a choice between if drafters had
No,
that
I
pick, it was
I
between
saw
him and Bucky.
in a lot of high stakes leagues he was going
Oh,
early second
earlier,
round,
like
and where I
middle.
took him was the NFFC. So I took him
Oh,
early, like
brutal.
early second round because I didn't have any. And even if you took him late second round, right now you're not feeling good because you have so many running backs outperforming him at this point. But yeah, like the trades were like Judkins and Scadaboo and guys like that.
I got one last night for me giving up T Higgins and getting back Amari and Hampton.
That's actually not bad.
I actually like it. I think I'm
If
probably
you
going
need
to
a
take
running
it.
back, yeah.
I have it's so interesting because when I did this draft, this was my home league with the college buddies and stuff. And so when I did this draft, I definitely punted on my RB2. I just was like, I don't really need, I want to go focus on my wide receivers and they look pretty good. But Jalen Warren is my RB2, but he has blown away my expectations. Like I was a little bit nervous about that, and it was a little bit of, okay, what's Caleb Johnson going to do? What's this going to look like? But man, if people had Jalen Warren later, I mean, I hope he can keep this up, and that's always in the back of my mind though, Adam. When I'm looking at Warren, I say, wow, he's on the good side of Aaron Rodgers, which I think is really important for any running back in that offense. But Arthur Smith makes me a little bit nervous, but Jalen Warren so far, he's handled 70% and 81% of the rushing attempts when you look at him over the last handful of games. It's just been kind of crazy.
Yeah, you started to see a shift where it was Caleb Johnson mostly going in front of Jalen Warren for most of draft season. And I felt as we got closer to the start of the season, it flipped. And you started
Mhm.
to see Jalen Warren going earlier. I know I had Warren ranked higher as well. You could
Same.
just sense it that it was going in that direction. And then obviously Caleb Johnson with that mistake on the kickoff return, and
I
it
loved
doesn't
it.
look like he's anywhere close. It's Kenneth Gainwell who's ahead of him. So yeah, you're feeling pretty good about Jalen Warren. Even Aaron Rodgers was saying before last week's game they need to get him more involved in the passing game, which is why I took his receiving yards prop
There
last
you
week at
go.
19 and a half, and it went over.
There we
Uh,
go.
but yeah, your Jalen Warren is a guy that's really his stock has gone up since the start of the
Yeah.
season.
It's been a pleasant surprise, I think. I just always hold my breath because we know those Arthur Smith
Yeah.
offenses. It feels like one of these weeks everything could turn on its head and you're just going to be sitting there like, well, okay, now what? Now what do I do with Jalen Warren? So yeah, I think I might T Higgins for Amari and Hampton, especially with the unfortunate injury that we talked about for Najee. You know that Amari and Hampton's going to be getting that work. So we're going to keep breaking down this game tonight. Obviously, Seahawks taking on the Cardinals. Cardinals at home. I'm saying, yeah, Cardinals at home. I know that for a fact. I just wanted to go through a couple of the injury updates that I saw yesterday that I saw people messaging about as well. Chris Godwin, I think we said this yesterday, but just to reiterate, he was seen participating at Bucks practice on yesterday, on Wednesday. And so this is a good sign. Adam Schefter said that there was a, quote, strong chance that Godwin does make his return in week 4. Looking through the rankings, though, Adam, I'm just be careful. If you like Chris Godwin, if you have him, I think you're going to have better options to start this week, because we've talked a lot about how we think that this could be a slower ramp up. I know that the Mike Evans injury might make people believe and say, hey, he's got to go out there because they need him. And I don't think that's untrue. But just expectations for Chris Godwin in a first game back potentially in week 4, and it might not even happen, but they're saying it could. I think just be careful if you're looking at your receiver rankings, putting him in your flex, anything like that.
Yeah, we're not sure if he is even going to be active this week. That's the plan. And if he does go out there, I just don't see him playing a huge amount of snaps in his first game back coming off this injury. So if you do have him, I would look to go elsewhere. I don't see how you can start him this week against Philly as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. It looks like Jacory Croskey-Merritt. There were reports from Jeremy Fowler. People saw him miss Wednesday's practice, and they said it was precautionary. So just be careful. I know I saw some messages come through, but they said that not considered to be anything serious at all. So Jacory Croskey-Merritt, Bill is planning to play in week 4, going up against the Falcons. And then the last one here that I did see too was that Tetairoa McMillan did not practice on Wednesday. I know the Wednesday reports are always okay. We have to pay attention to this. For some of the vets, I saw someone asked about Devontae Adams. He usually gets a rest day on Wednesday anyway, but he was dealing with being a little bit banged up. But Tetairoa McMillan, we haven't usually seen him on the practice reports, but they said he's day to day with a calf injury. And again, this is the first time that he's been on the injury report. So sometime during week 3, going up against the Falcons, that happened. But I do not practice. You just pay attention to early this week. We'll see if he keeps going.
Yeah, there were so many guys on this Wednesday practice report that didn't go that, again, I don't worry about it. McMillan says he intends to play in week 4. Always, players are going to be optimistic. That's why when you hear players talk and they don't sound optimistic about playing, it's a red flag to me, because players think they can play through anything. But yeah, I don't really worry about it on a Wednesday. It might just, if you have those players on your team, you go, okay, if this player is out, what would I do? But no need to panic on a Wednesday. Any player that has any type of pain or something, they're going to sit out on a Wednesday. Even missing a Thursday practice, not the biggest deal. Obviously, Friday is the one. But yeah, if you do see someone sit today too, then you go, okay, now I have to start thinking about a backup plan. But never worry about it on a Wednesday. I mean, if it's a new injury, sure, but there were so many yesterday. I was like, yeah, okay.
There were. I was looking through it and I said, I cannot put all these guys on the water cooler. So I'm just going to hit some of them up top and say, don't worry. Should we come out with our practice reports on Wednesdays? Tired, sleepy.
Yeah, that would be that just tired for me. That's every day.
Be like over caffeinated for me. You slept too much. That would be
no, I didn't sleep enough. So you'll have the sleep too much.
Ours would just be the opposite.
Yes.
You play. Oh, how was softball? You played softball last night?
Yeah, we won.
Okay, there we go. See, we could put that on the practice reports.
There we go. Yeah.
Winner.
Yeah, we're getting to that point, right, where I have to see the practice report for me, see if I can play.
Exactly. Your team's like, I don't know. Is he, he's questionable coming in, and then you're just, you're good to go. So maybe we should do that. All right, we're gonna keep going here. People are like, come on, let's get going. We've got, like I said, a great show planned out for you guys. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us here. Rankings, risers, and fallers for week 4. We've got a couple quarterbacks that moved up and down throughout the week. Want to talk about a couple key running backs as well going into week 4, and start taking some of your questions at Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. I know start sit questions are coming, so we'll start looking over there, and we're gonna do rankings, risers, and fallers coming up next. Oh, we sure do. Make sure you go over there. We've got the utilization report live. We've got all our articles 100% free. Rankings are updated. I see some start sit questions coming in, Adam, over on X at Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there. And so we'll start getting into those. Let me do a quick one. Benson or Genty this week? That's from Mike. We got Trey Benson going today.
I would say Genty, if it's the Bears and all the injuries they have, like, he's got to get it done this week. So I'll go Genty.
It's got to be better, right?
Yeah, we hope so.
Saying. We're just going to keep saying that until it's week 9, and then we can't. We say, oh, well, maybe it doesn't get better than this. But I agree. I do have Genty a little bit higher in my rankings. Mike, appreciate you sending that message in. Again, rankings are live, fantasylife.com. It was an we'll go through it. It was an interesting week for rankings, just going through every single game, some of the, some of the matchups and some of the defenses that you have to pay attention to. But I think risers and fallers here right now, when I look at it, Jordan Love has a great matchup. And I know we're going to talk about this, but let's just go through. It's really any team that's playing the Cowboys right now, Adam. We just have to pick on them. And so he was one of the biggest rankings risers from last week to this week, but he's the top 10 option. And he's been actually pretty, reliable, I think, to this point. QB 18, QB 13, QB 26 finishes. So maybe not necessarily reliable, but I think week 3 was tough against that Browns defense. And we saw that. That's how I got knocked out. One of my picks got knocked out in Survivor, but that's okay. We learn and get better. But I think this matchup for sure, he projects in the projection model as a QB 12 finish. So you kind of really like that. Xfinity best, his ceiling could be 27.7 fantasy points in this game. The median is looking like 17.9. So yeah, upgraded to QB 10 across the board for us.
Yeah, if there's one thing we learned in the first 3 weeks of the season, it's play your quarterbacks against the Dallas Cowboys. Their defense is horrendous. They're allowing an average of 300 passing yards per game. And it would have been worse if Jalen Hurts could pass for more than 152 in week 1. They've allowed 7 touchdown passes the last 2 weeks. Quarterbacks have run on them as well. It is a disaster, and we know that Green Bay, coming off a loss against Cleveland, going into a Sunday night game where it's the Micah Parsons Bowl, they might pour it on Dallas. They have not been afraid to do that, if you remember that postseason game. So if there's any week that Love has his best week of the season, it will be this week.
More than likely this week. Drink every time they mention Micah Parsons? No,
you'll be drunk before the game starts.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting to see what the vibes look like. But yeah, Jordan Love is going to be your guy this week. I mean, I'm actually at QB 8, and I feel pretty good about it. It's just one of those things where, because of the matchup, that he is probably going to be able to get his, like you said, going up against this defense. So something to look at there. I will say, just to finish off with this game, Josh Jacobs, also someone that's a riser. Basically every single person, but really I wanted to talk about these two because we talked about a couple days ago buying Josh Jacobs, saying, hey, if you want to buy him, a buy low situation could be this week, and I still think you can get that done because the Packers are 7-point road favorites. Did I see last? Still there, I think. And Dallas has allowed the 7th best boost to opposing backfields at 2.5 points per game. So he's due, I think, for a big game. Not that he's been doing poorly. But again, if you're looking for a buy low situation, I think it's Josh Jacobs right now, averaging 13.6 points. He had a really good utilization score coming into this week. And he's someone that also went up in our rankings going into week 4.
Yeah, he's getting big workloads. Last week, obviously, he was shut down against Cleveland. They have just been limiting every running back they've gone against. Yeah. And Jacobs is only averaging 3.1 yards per carry. Even before the Cleveland game, he wasn't really, averaging much. But the volume is there. He's had 20 touches, 23, and 21. So this is a better matchup for him. So you would expect a good game and a good chance for him to score a touchdown after his streak was broken last week. He had 11 straight games with a touchdown and did not score last week.
Got to start it again. Got to start somewhere. I've got him RB8 going into this weekend. So really like him. A smash spot for him. Sorry, against the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean,
we're going to be talking about them like this.
This is it's not news to me. I watch these games. I understand it's going to be ugly on Sunday night.
It's the Sunday night game?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. At least you get the Jets on the road next. You can win. You actually have Jets on the road and then the Panthers on the road. Not bad.
Well, great.
Going to the Commanders?
Oh, I feel great, yeah.
That looks like 2 wins.
I don't know about that.
Against the Panthers?
The Panthers just shut out Atlanta.
Okay, well, we talked about Michael Penix Jr. It didn't look good. Come on, I'll have the faith for you then. I think they're going to win both those games. How's that?
Oh, great. I feel so much better now. My season is turned around.
Whatever. At least we're being positive here. I just want we usually don't talk about guys that is very that it's very obvious that you're going to start them, but I did want to continue or just wrap up, put a bow on our conversation about Puka Nakua, because again, if you have Puka Nakua, you already know you're starting him week in and week out. It's no question, set it and forget it kind of player. But man, he's the wide receiver one going into this weekend for us at FantasyLife.com. Consensus across the board through 3 games. League high 29 receptions and 333 receiving yards on 35 targets. And you got a little bit of rushing work in there as well. So it was our conversation was fun because you're right. If we're redrafting today, Puka Nakua jumps up really high. I mean, he was obviously going after guys like CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he fell in some drafts because of the Matthew Stafford news. It was never about his ability, but it was more about his quarterback. He's been really efficient and he's just looked really good in each of the past 2 seasons. He has averaged 9.3 yards per target. So it's just been really good. Again, you don't need us to tell you you're starting Puka Nakua, but just a shout out for him for being a riser this week as well.
Yeah, I have him as the number 1 receiver rest of the way.
Nice.
It's just when you look at what's, Jamar Chase obviously has taken a tick down with Browning, Jefferson, and his quarterback situation. Malik Neighbors is fine, but, he is working with a new quarterback now, whereas Puka has that rapport with Stafford, and the volume is just there every week. It would be even better if he actually could find the end zone more. He has no receiving touchdowns, but he does have that 45-yard rushing touchdown in week 2 against Tennessee. But the volume is just so massive right now. I mean, they just look for him every single play, it feels like. So that's the one thing that's great about the Rams offense for fantasy. It's so condensed. So we are seeing a little bit more Blake Corum, but Kyrie Williams still getting most of the touches, and then Devontae Adams and Puka Nakua. So, yeah, we love the Rams offense.
We do. At least that was a cool touchdown that he had, though.
Yes, it was.
Last week. That was awesome. I didn't think he was going to get through that, but at least he has. It's cool. The vibes are good. Again, you don't need us to tell you that, but he's just a plug and play guy. You don't have to worry about him. Another start sit question, since we're talking about Dak Prescott. Oh no, this is where we're at. Start sit Dak or Jackson Dart going into week 4. That's where you start Dak.
Yeah, I think so too. Again, I don't love Dak this
Not
week.
great,
It's
but
not a good spot for him, but Dart's first game against the Chargers defense. I mean, look, he could have a good game. Like, we don't know. We know he can run a little bit, and sometimes you see the quarterbacks come out their first game and play well, but it's a little bit risky here. So I would go with Dak there, and they should be playing from behind. What you're hoping for Dak is, he piles up the points late. We didn't see it last week. They were shut out in the second half. Part of that could have been CeeDee Lamb leaving the game, and, they didn't have a game plan. Now they have a week to put in a game plan. That's not going to work anyway, but you just hope that he can get you like 250 and 2 touchdowns as they play from behind.
yeah, thanks for that was from Gil. So it's not going to be pretty. Just set your lineup and then don't watch. Maybe go for dinner, go see a movie or something and just have, be
It's Sunday
be
night
good.
football. Everyone's
I
watching.
know,
And
but it's not, if you're starting Dak, you're not going to probably want to watch it.
probably not. I know I'm going to have
bad.
to start him in a couple leagues, unfortunately.
Do you think he gets better throughout the way though? In all honesty,
I don't think he's been
realistic.
bad. I don't think the team has helped him out much.
He's averaging you're right. Okay, he's averaging 14.8 fantasy points per
The
game.
fantasy points haven't been there, but it's not.
QB
If you watch him
25.
play, he has really not been that
No,
bad.
you're right. But CeeDee Lamb not being out there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got Tolbert and Turpin in a couple obviously different leagues, but I might be in a tough spot once those buys start coming up and don't have CeeDee Lamb, where I'm going to have to play one or the other.
Yeah, buys begin next week, so you got to start looking at that and get ready. It's the Falcons, Bears, Packers, Steelers on bye next week. There's some
Brutal.
good running backs there.
Yeah, there are. Speaking of my Jalen Warren shares, yikes! Maybe I should make that trade. But yeah, just absolutely brutal. And I know at the top of the hour we were talking about Chase Brown, but he is definitely a faller going into this week. Again, workload hasn't been an issue, but it's definitely something to watch. And then let me just say this. Do you think A.D. Mitchell could be anything this week for the Colts? Again, this is going to be a tougher game for them, but said the same thing about the Denver Broncos. I only bring it up because Alec Pierce, I believe, is still in concussion protocol. So once you see that with a team that's looked as good as they have, I just kind of wanted to bring up A.D. Mitchell maybe as a flex player. You think that's too deep?
Probably. I mean, look, he could step in. I mean, I think that's what we're expecting him to fill in if Pierce is out, but it's really dependent on a big play.
Yeah, he hasn't done much obviously so far this season. 19% route share, 37% target share though. So I guess if Pierce doesn't play, then it's really boom or bust though. You don't want to put him out there and say, "Well, I'm expecting fantasy points." I wouldn't do that. And then Deebo Samuel, he rose a little bit. It's not looking good for Terry McLaurin. Again, we said this yesterday, but if you have Terry McLaurin, he was going to seek second opinions on his injury. It was the quad injury over the weekend. Jayden Daniels is also, we'll talk about this in the water cooler, but he said he feels good, but he's leaving it up to the doctors. I think after what they saw from Marcus Mariota, maybe they might say, hey, he was able to, manage this offense. He had highs and lows, obviously, in that game, but ultimately probably looked like what they expected and what they wanted. And so maybe they go into this game and say, we want to make sure that Jayden Daniels is 100% healthy. But with both those guys out anyway, Terry McLaurin and Jayden Daniels, Deebo Samuel did get a bump up for us this week as well.
Yeah, I'm expecting McLaurin to be out. I don't know about Jayden Daniels yet. They have to be 100% sure he's good to go. They cannot risk it this early in the season. You need him healthy for the long run. So
yeah.
I think most people are expecting him to play. I guess we'll see with the practice reports today and tomorrow.
Yeah, but I do like Deebo, especially a lot more if you have Jayden Daniels back there. But I think even if Marcus Mariota is back there and potentially probably no Terry McLaurin, you like him. Again, his Xfinity best ceiling is the third highest at 29 points. So something to look out for Deebo Samuel going later in drafts. Someone I just wish I had a little bit more of hindsight, but
I was only able to get him in best ball. I was, I thought he would go higher in drafts. He didn't, so I started to take him in some best ball drafts, but I was not able to get him in redraft leagues.
All right, let's keep going forward here. I see a ton of questions coming in, so we are obviously going to start hitting some of those start sits. I have true or false predictions for week 4. Travion Henderson, is he a must start the rest of the way because of the fumbles? CJ Stroud, what are we doing with him? Looking at Carson Wentz as well. We're going to go through all of that and your questions over there on X here coming up next. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. That's right, football fans. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. And this Sunday, you already know, at 4:25 Eastern, it is a must-see matchup between former MVPs when Lamar Jackson and the Ravens fly into Arrowhead Stadium to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today and count on Sundays for another must-see season of the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. We sure do bring the heat. You like spicy food, right?
Not really.
Oh, what? Why didn't I know that? Nothing? Like, what's your level?
Not too spicy, no.
You think ranch is spicy or what? What are we doing?
No.
Okay. Sorry, that was an attack, and I apologize.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. No, I know. I didn't know that. I thought you did. Like, why am I thinking that you did?
I don't know. You mixing me up with someone.
We can still take the heat. Maybe it was Ani when we got lunch.
Probably, yeah. Maybe
yeah.
him.
Maybe you best friends. You confuse them all together with producer Ani. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam, Ronis with you right here on Fantasy Live Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Wanted to go through a little true or false and some of the predictions that we have going into week 4. And I see more and more of these questions coming in. So appreciate all of you at KValenzuela17, at Adam Ronis, and same with the phone lines. We are definitely going to get to you guys over there. 888-963-2682 is the phone number. All right, Adam, true or false? Travion Henderson will get more backfield work because of the fumbles that we saw in week 3.
I would say true. We started to see it last week, although we didn't see it right away because Ramondre Stevenson had his second fumble, and then we saw Antonio Gibson, and then he fumbled, and then I guess they said, all right, now we have no choice. We have to go to Travion. Now, wasn't great That was the one thing. 11 carries for 28 yards. We obviously want to see him more involved in the passing game. Not that it means much, but when they showed practice yesterday, Henderson was first up. So if there's any time, it should be now. So I would say yes. And then we'll be watching on Sunday, and
Don't say
Stevenson
that.
will start the game.
Oh, they can't do that, right?
They
They have to
can.
set it well. Yeah, they can. I thought they have to set set the scene and say, no, we don't like that. Travion Henderson for me, and consensus actually across fantasy life, RB30 going into the week.
Yeah,
That
look,
feels about right.
I don't think we're there at a must start yet. I think you feel better after seeing what happened last week, but there's still the possibility that, he doesn't get all of the touches and that we
Oh
do
yeah.
see Stevenson involved early. So that's the only risk.
I'll just say, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the Panthers were really bad against the run last year.
Hmm.
They've been a little bit better this year, at least the last 2 weeks. Week one, ETN had 143 rushing yards. They bottled up Arizona, and Bijan had 13 carries, 72 yards last week. But still, overall, pretty good matchup. You would think
Yeah.
that they have some success on the ground.
You'd hope so. Again, like you said, after it was two fumbles by Stevenson and then one by Gibson. Henderson got 84% of the snaps over 3 drives. So again, absolutely no idea if this is going to stick going into this week. But I'm with you on the true there. We're hoping that it's true that Henderson does get more work because of the fumbles from last week. All right, true or false? With Carson Wentz as his quarterback, you can start Hawkinson everywhere, every single week. You might have already been doing that because of where you drafted him, but it's more of a shout out to TJ Hawkinson and what he looked like with Carson Wentz as his quarterback.
I'll say true. The
Okay.
touchdown did come late in the game, but you definitely feel better about Hawkinson going forward with Wentz at quarterback. So yeah, unless you were able to get Jawan Johnson or someone like that, you're probably rolling with Hawkinson anyway. Uh,
Yeah.
maybe a Hunter Henry you would start over
Yeah,
Hawkinson.
Hunter
So
Henry,
there's a couple,
Jawan,
but I think you
uh,
definitely feel, I think he's in the top 12.
Ferguson
No, no. Oh, who would I start for?
ahead.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I would start
Ferguson
Ferguson
this
over
week.
Hawkinson. Yeah.
Kraft, obviously, Laporta, Dalton Kincaid. Dalton
Kincaid
Kincaid
is
over.
tricky because of
Yeah.
the game script of this because he's still not running a lot of routes. The
Mhm.
good thing is when he is out there, they are looking for him. Uh, they're 15.5 point favorites. So the concern is if they do jump out to a big lead, how much does he play late in the game? But I
Yeah.
probably would still say yes on Kincaid over Hawk.
The thing that you liked about Hawkinson too is that he got 100% of the targets inside the 10-yard line, which is big. Obviously, when we're talking about maybe someone being a little bit more touchdown dependent, but TJ Hawkinson looked good when he was in there. So
You
when
do
you look,
have Jordan Addison back this week too.
yeah, I'm curious. That is interesting.
Wait,
I've actually
oh,
been
here's the matchup. The Steelers have been
who?
getting destroyed by tight ends, second most fantasy
Oh,
points. I
that'll
mean,
do
your
it.
guy AJ Barner scored a touchdown on them,
Hey,
and they gave up
not
two to
too
Hunter
much on
Henry
AJ.
last
Not too
week.
much on AJ Barner. I like him.
I mean, and they faced the Jets in week one, who doesn't even use the tight end.
Yeah, that's brutal. Wait, Jordan Addison, is he just he's must start, right? Is he? I maybe he's not, I
Must start? I
guess.
don't know about that. It
I'm actually
depends.
trying to trade him
I
right
think
now.
I'm starting him in a league I have him, but that's a league I lost CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, so you kind of
So,
have to.
yeah,
Jordan Addison consensus. Wow, we're all over the
over the place.
place. Ooh, well, so Ian has him wide receiver 55. Dwayne has him wide receiver 47. I have him wide receiver 39. And then Friedman and Waz have him at 36.
Okay.
That is all over the place, though.
Yeah, I
55.
mean, I'm sure Ian is Wayne just worried first game back,
Oh,
conditioning.
I'm kind
What
of
does he
worried
look like?
too.
Is my guess.
He hasn't been
Again,
practicing?
Pittsburgh's defense has been brutal. Like, I don't think anyone thought the defense was going to be this bad, and they have been.
Yeah,
They're not
no,
a defense you
that's
fear
true.
right now.
No, definitely not someone you fear. All right, last one, true or false? If you're in a tough spot, you can start all Packers receivers this weekend going up against Dallas. Is that true?
I it's always tough with the Packers because they spread it out. But
That's
yeah,
including Dobbs and Wicks and, of course, Matthew Gold. You say it's true?
yes, I'll say it's
Okay.
true.
Wow. Brutal.
They're
How the
upgraded
mighty have
this week,
fallen.
clearly.
Okay. Yes, they are definitely
It's not a bye
upgrades.
week. If it was a bye week, it's an easy yes. But I do think, yeah. I mean, if you're there can be people in it. There could be a team that had CeeDee Lamb and Mike Evans,
Oh, for
right?
sure.
I
I'm
mean,
sure.
or CeeDee Lamb, McLaurin, Evans, McLaurin. So there are some teams that are in a tough spot this week. In that situation, you're digging a little deep. Yeah, I think you can start those Packers receivers.
I know a lot of people are probably going through this that drafted him, but I'm looking at my team. I've got one team that I've only won 1 week, and I'm looking at Rashi Rice and thinking to myself, "Oh yeah, just when Rashi Rice gets back, that'll definitely win my leagues." But I need to win, Adam, to continue to
Yeah.
stay in it. I'm sure a ton of people are going through that right now, but it does make me laugh when I look at those teams and I say, as long as I get Rashi Rice back. But at some point you have to say, well, you have to keep winning in order to do that. I do think he can long term obviously be someone that really steps up and could be a league winner down the stretch, but you got to put your team in a spot to be able to do it. So it's just brutal looking at that.
Yeah, I have a team that's 1-2 with Rice, and then another team that's 3-3 because we two doubleheaders. So
Hmm.
yeah, look, there's probably, and this is for next week. There's going to be a team that starts 0-4 with Rice. That's when you go trade for him if you're 4-0.
Yeah. I even think this week, I mean, it's not, if it's nothing now, you can't use them, but obviously I think there's going to be something there, but yeah, just waiting for that. All right, that was true false here. We've got more of those that I'll go through throughout the remainder of the show. Want to go through our survivor picks going into week 4. Obviously, I was the loser last week because I was the one that fell for it, and I picked Green Bay for whatever reason. So I lost one of my entries. We have 3 entries total, but now I have 2. You've got all 3 left, right?
Yes.
You're nice. All right. So we'll go through some survivor picks, some teams that we like going into the week, and continue taking your questions here coming up next. Wow, Adam.
What?
The term hip hop is
Yeah,
loose
being
nowadays, huh?
yeah, I guess so.
I
Because
need
this
the
is
people to
not what I
know.
was referring to at
Oh,
all.
you requested it in the break. I heard it. You said any Taylor Swift song
No.
just to distract you from the Dallas Cowboys this weekend. What
I
if
need
they
something
win?
to distract.
What
They're
if
not
they
going to
win?
win. They're not going
What
to
if
win.
they did, though?
Okay, great.
Should we throw a party on Monday? Dallas
No.
Cowboys party? Okay.
No.
All right. Fine. I won't. I was going to come up with a theme and everything. That's fine. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us on this Thursday. Obviously, getting you ready for Thursday Night Football, getting you ready for everything week 4 in the NFL, and going through some of your start sit questions here to get going. And then we'll talk a little bit Survivor right here, Adam. But wanted to get through just a couple more questions here. Yvette message just in said Swift or Benson half-point PPR this week. Swift or Benson?
I'm going to go with Benson. I don't think Swift has looked good.
No, Swift has not looked good. Yeah, you're right. I have Benson. Yeah, I have Benson not way ahead, but a good 10 spots ahead of him. I've got DeAndre Swift at RB 28 this week and then 18 for. And I think I'm going to move. I talked to you about this in a break, but I think I'm going to move Benson up a little bit because you're right. I'm a little bit biased with Cam Scatterbo. I think he would go
No,
ahead of him.
I do think they're very close. Like
I do
I would
too.
not if you said I'm starting Cam over Benson, I would not argue with you.
I see another one here, and this one is more important for Thursday night, but it's from Charbonnet or Chubb. Charbonnet,
Oh,
I
I can
know,
never start Nick Chubb.
but
Charbonnet, see, I'm wondering what they're going to do tonight. It is a short week, and Charbonnet didn't play last week. So do we see more of a split this week? In that situation, look, I just can't start Nick Chubb. I can't. So I'm going Charbonnet.
I can't start Nick Chubb either, especially with what we've seen with Woody Marks coming out. I mean, he's gotten more work every single game. I think eventually we are going to see a
Yeah,
little
they
bit of a
were
change
much
in that
closer last week.
backfield.
I mean, it is
Oh yeah,
Tennessee, though. That's the only thing.
for
Um,
Chubb.
yeah, I don't think I can do it, though. I mean,
I don't
Tennessee's
know.
given up the 3rd most fantasy points. They gave up. I mean, look who they faced, though. They faced Jonathan Taylor, who's actually been the RB1 in 4 of the last 6 games, going back to
Jeez,
last year. Kyron Williams they faced, and then
it's not
the
good.
Denver backfield where Dobbins had 63 on 16 and Harvey had 70 yards on 6 carries. Damn, that kind of makes it closer. If there's any
I
week
will
I would start Nick
say,
Chubb, it might be
I was
this
gonna
week.
say, I will say, just for this week alone, I actually
Yeah,
have Chubb one
I guess
spot
I would. I
higher.
can't believe it, but yeah, looking
You
at
got
that,
it. You got him to say it. He's
yeah.
starting Nick Chubb. Wow.
I do
We should
think, don't
clip
you think
this.
Charbonnet, though, could get like 12 touches tonight on a short
Yes.
week with Walker?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do. That's the. It was easy last week because it was easier, but then he came into this. He came into this week obviously banged up, and so you got the questionable tag. I don't know what those two are going to look like. Obviously, if you have Kenneth Walker, you're starting him. But
Yes. And
Sharps,
I'm not saying you have to start Charbonnet. We
no.
were just looking at it
But I
compared to
think
Nick
it's a
Chubb.
tough. I think it's a tough. I think Sharps for a lot of people tonight. It's going to be a tough call.
Yeah.
I have him actually. Where do I have Charbonnet? I have him RB 38
Okay.
this week.
So, yeah, that means that you're not always
Borderline.
starting him.
No,
It really
borderline
depends
for
who you
sure.
have.
Yeah, borderline for sure. All right, appreciate that question because you got Adam to say that he's going to start Nick Chubb, which will probably never happen again throughout the whole season. But let me just say this: you're not picking anyone from tonight's games for Survivor.
Survivor? No.
No, we can't do it.
I already took Seattle 2 leagues last week.
Nice.
But no, I don't
And
think
that looked
you can.
good. Who was your third pick?
Last week, Buffalo.
Yeah. Ugh. I'm jealous. Can you tell I'm jealous because I picked Green Bay? Can you tell I'm jealous? All right, we're going to the water cooler, guys. You already know. Make sure to call in. We'll answer as many phone calls as we can and go through news and notes that you need to know heading into the weekend. Oh, it is about that time. Time for the Fantasy Life Water Cooler, taking you through all the pieces of news that we had over the last 24 hours here, all the notes that you need to know from practice so you can set your lineups accordingly and continue dominating those fantasy football leagues. Kendall, Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you right here. FantasyLife.com, though, always have to remind you, head over there and sign up for our newsletter 7 days a week. That'll be in your inbox and 100% free. Same with all of our articles. A lot of the stuff that we talk about here, you guys could be reading at fantasylife.com. So always highly recommended. And then if you've been thinking about tier 1 or tier 2 subscriptions, the holidays are coming up here, Adam. Adam's got his Christmas tree up already. He's ready to go. Lights are right behind you. Lights are up and everything. No, but if you've been thinking about it, SXM20, just use that code. And that's always for you guys because we've got the best listeners. But SXM20 gets you 20% off any tier 1 or tier 2 subscription. So if you've been thinking about getting more into the utilization side of things, you want all of our rankings, make sure you go and use that code SXM20 at checkout, and that gets you 20% off. And then, of course, the phone lines, they're all open. So 888-963-2682, or you can press that new call-in button on the Sirius XM app, and we see a lot of questions over there on X, Adam. We gotta get into it. When the files are backed up over there. So at KValenzuela17, at Adam Ronis, and we'll start doing some more of these rapid fire here. But pieces of news that we saw, Ricky Pearsall, I saw a quote that he said he's, quote, not worried about his knee and expects to play this week. So I think we kind of already knew that. I wasn't expecting him to not play, but Ricky Pearsall, yeah, it looks like he's going to be just fine. Who do they get? Jacksonville, right?
Jacksonville, yeah.
He should put up some good numbers going up against Jacksonville, but
yeah, we also have to see if Jauan Jennings can return.
I've seen no updates on him yet.
Yeah, look, if he's out, obviously Pearsall gets the massive target share, and that's what you want to see if you have Pearsall. We did see when Jennings is in there, kind of went towards him a little bit more. But either way, you're feeling good about Ricky Pearsall right now with everything that's going on, with all the injuries that the 49ers have had, and Pearsall has had a couple of nice games here. So hopefully that continues. Last week, obviously, a massive game, which was once I saw Jennings was officially out, I went to go look at Pearsall's receiving yards prop and played that. So
Nice.
He's got 2 100-yard games.
Quietly too, I want to say. Like it's been good.
Yeah.
All right.
Jennings set out week 1, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, the 2 games with Jennings out, he's at 100 yards.
Yeah. So you kind of, again, I've seen no update yet on Jennings. I'm leaning more towards I think we're going to see him, but again, could be totally wrong on that one. But yeah, Jauan Jennings, he missed a little bit because I see he still had 3.6 fantasy points in week 1.
Oh yeah,
he
was
leave?
it was yeah.
Something like that. And then he fully played against New Orleans because he got fantasy managers 20 points.
Yeah, had a big game that week.
That was a big game. And then Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see here. But yeah, Ricky Pearsall, looking like that he's going to be good. I'll say this too, the matchup, the Jacksonville Jaguars are number one in largest fantasy boost allowed to wide receivers. So we pick on them when we talk about their receivers, or receivers going up against them, I should say. So there you go. Big game for Ricky Pearsall. Let's hope, at least for everyone involved. Again, at K Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there. And we'll continue going through questions here. See one from Bryce. Travion Henderson or Quinshon Judkins, half point PPR. I think it's Judkins.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You don't
think
like
so
it.
too. No, I do. I think so too.
I think
It's
I just don't trust Henderson yet. I have Judkins at 26 for running backs. And I think it's close because I have Henderson at 30 because they're going up against the Panthers.
Yeah, it's just the Lions are a tough matchup, but Judkins is just getting all of the touches in that backfield. And we always say volume's important. Dylan Sampson had 1 carry last week. Everything else was Judkins. And I'm so impressed with what he has done considering he missed all of training camp. He must have stayed in great shape. We've talked about it. Of any position to come in the NFL rather quickly, it is running back. So it's not like the other positions. Just got to know the blocking scheme and, maybe a handful of plays, especially early on, and you're good to go. But what he has done so far has been really impressive.
Yeah, no. Shout out to him because we expected him to have a good workload as the season continued, progressed,
yeah, but
right?
not this early. I did it.
That's why I asked Dwayne. I said, Dwayne, are you surprised by this? And even he said, yeah, because we don't usually see guys get this workload when he didn't touch any preseason games. He wasn't even close to training camp. So yeah, he must have been putting in the work on the side or something because now we're talking about him as someone that you should be looking to start. I mean, really, where he's ranked right now, and if you have some injuries at the running back position, you're probably looking at him and saying, okay, this is not a bad guy to fill in. So yeah, it's been interesting to see him, but I think I would go. Yeah, Quinshon Judkins there. So I'm going to pay attention to that one. Let us know how that goes. Next up here, Jayden Daniels. Just wanted to put this quote out there that he said he feels good. It's up to the doctors. So Jayden Daniels again gave. I think that was a little bit of an update on how his knee was doing. This was yesterday, but he hurt his knee in that week 2 loss going up against the Packers. Did not practice or play last week, just to remind everyone. And then Jayden Daniels said it's up to the doctors, not my decision. So they said that there's going to be a conversation with Jayden Daniels if he would need to wear a brace on his knee in a game. We've never seen him wear one in the past, but we're just kind of waiting. Again, Marcus Mariota was serviceable for them, so they might feel like they're in an okay spot where you can say, all right, if we have to do this and we want to keep Jayden Daniels as healthy as we can, they're on the road this week going up against the Falcons. And so maybe they turn to Marcus Mariota again. I think just if you have him and you picked up a quarterback, we said this a couple days ago though, Adam, if you have Jayden Daniels, just make sure you have a backup in case he can't go again this week.
Yeah, and you had someone last week, so hopefully you held on just in case. But yeah, we'll find out, I guess, today and tomorrow whether Daniels is able to go.
How much are they favored in that game against the Falcons?
I think it is 1.5.
Wow. Okay.
That's
interesting.
That would lead you to believe Daniel's not playing.
He's not playing. Yeah. Usually that tells us a little bit. Vegas usually tells us something.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
We'll see today. I mean, today's important, and tomorrow, obviously, tomorrow more important than today with practices. But yeah, we'll see about it. Okay, continuing on, and again, the phone number, I should say, 888-963-2682. We see you all there on hold. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And then at K Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. I just saw this and I wanted to bring it up that Emeka Egbuka is the betting favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Which again, Adam, a couple months ago, if you told us that, I would say, oh, okay. But, you still have got Ashton Genty. You've got Amarian Hampton there. And, he's looking like the favorite. And Jalen Warren's up there, too, by the way. Have to say that. Or Tetairoa McMillan. I thought maybe Tet would be up there. Nah, it's Emeka Egbuka's world, and we're just kind of living in it.
I think this
You're starting
change
him everywhere.
I could see this changing a lot this year.
Going back and forth?
Yes, because, again, Egbuka has been great, but what's going to happen when they have Godwin and Evans. I still think he'll be fine. Warren has been great, and the Colts are winning, so they're going to get attention with them being 3-0. Hampton obviously going into a bigger workload now. We saw what he did last week. Really good game. Chargers, another team that's winning. I see Jackson Dart has already moved up there.
Wow.
Too. So we know quarterbacks tend to get favorable treatment in this award, especially if they perform. But the Giants' schedule is very difficult. And McMillan's a good one, too. He's looked very good. A lot's going to come down to Bryce Young and can he get him the football consistently? Because the numbers so far have been okay. They should be better, though. 14 catches on 27 targets.
Wow. That's
got to get better. And he hasn't scored a touchdown yet. 216 yards. He's looked good. And I think in fantasy, you're fine with it right now. He's at 11.8 in the PPR, 16 and 7.8. That was the disappointment last week, but that was because they had such a big lead. They really didn't need to pass much, so that definitely hurt the numbers. Young was 16 of 24 for 121 yards. So they just were able to have control of that game, and they didn't really need to do much. But McMillan is getting most of the targets on that team. So I do think this is one of those awards where we might see 3-4 different players as the favorite as the season goes along.
Yeah, I agree. You know who's not going to be in there? Someone that I have good amount of?
Who?
RJ Harvey.
That's not looking good right now. Yeah, it's not looking good.
It's not J.K. Dobbins. It's just tip of the cap, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Emeka Egbuka, betting favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And like you said, we'll see a change, but I thought that was a fun one to bring up here. And again, I've seen no updates injury-wise yet, Adam, throughout the day today. We're gonna be getting practice reports and everything coming in, so we'll make sure to keep an eye on all of those. But again, fantasylife.com, that's where you want to go to make sure that you are signed up for our newsletter, because we're always giving you all the news that you need to know throughout the week. And then use that code SXM20. Gets you 20% off any tier 1 or tier 2 Fantasy Life Plus subscription. Let's head out to the phone lines now and continue taking some of these questions over there on X. So again, phone number to call in 888-963-2682. So let's start off with Bob over there. Bob, what do you got for us?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I just got a question about Fields and Murray. We picked Murray up. There's no way we can wait for Fields. And if I can get a quick start sit after that.
Yeah. What's your second one?
So I have I need two running backs and a flex. I have Hubbard, Etienne, and Junkin, and then Harrison.
All right. So the first one, I think, Adam, with Justin Fields, again, I don't think if we have no updates, that's not good. Usually, okay, we don't hear from him. Maybe that's going to be better. But we said this last week, with how early he was ruled out with that concussion, it feels like it was going to be an uphill battle this week. Now, he still does have the chance to play, but if you have people like Bob here who has Murray for tonight or Fields, it feels like maybe you can't wait on that. You're just going to have to go roll out Murray.
Yeah, I would wait up until game time, see what type of report we get on Fields today. And then more than likely, though, you're just going to have to start Murray. If those are your only two options, you just can't wait around because there is a chance that Fields sits out again.
Yeah. And then the question over there was, I think we're starting three of these guys, but Hubbard, Etienne, Judkins, Marvin Harrison Jr. for tonight.
Okay. So, yeah, he needs two running backs, right?
Two running backs, yeah.
Yeah, it would be Hubbard and Etienne.
Yeah.
And then I guess the flex comes down to Harrison and Judkins and... I would go Judkins.
I think I would go Judkins too. It's very close though. It's I have him very close in just the overall rankings. I've got Judkins at 47 and I think Harrison's at 50. Yeah, 54. But I think that's too high for Harrison, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah, because your vaunted Seattle defense will shut him down, right?
Yeah, obviously. Hey, don't not too much on the
play
Seahawks.
well.
Okay,
I have their defense in a league. So
I was going to say the defense has actually looked very good. So I think I do need to move Marvin Harrison back. Man, we're going to say Judkins all week, aren't we? And then Judkins is going to go out there. Hopefully he has a big game. I'm also starting, just for the record, I am starting Judkins in a lot of places too. But appreciate you calling in, Bob. Good luck with that. But yeah, just wait up until kickoff, and maybe we get some news here today about Justin Fields. Let's continue on. Let's go out to Mike in New Hampshire. Mike, what do you got for us?
Hi, 4-point PPR. I need 3 out of 5, 2 wide receivers and a flex.
Mm-hmm.
I have Junkins, Travis Etienne, Deebo Samuel, actually, I have one more on my bench too, DJ Moore.
Ooh, okay.
I didn't hear all of them.
I've got it. Don't worry.
You got it?
Okay. Look at me. Come on. I know. No, shout out actually to our producers because they wrote it out for me.
Oh, I was going to say, damn, my hearing is that bad? Because I didn't hear a damn word.
I couldn't even lie about it. No, shout out to our producers because I've got it right here. All right, Mike. I know. I'm just
I heard Junkins, ETN.
2 wide receivers. So it's 2 wide receivers and a flex. So you've got Deebo, you've got Michael Pittman Jr., you've got George Pickens, Judkins, who it just feels like we're going to keep getting these Judkins questions because I understand it. It's difficult. ETN and DJ Moore.
All right.
That's actually a lot of good guys.
Deebo and Pickens, I think, are the 2 receivers.
Yeah, Deebo and Pickens. And then in the flex, though, I don't necessarily love Pittman.
Yeah, I would go ETN.
DJ Moore. DJ Moore has not been.
He's still not involved enough. I know he scored the touchdown last week, but that was against the Cowboys. I mean, good matchup against the Raiders, but it's hard to trust them right now.
Yeah, I think it's ETN. I have ETN overall at 37 this week. And again, Judkins for me, and you can go check out all of our rankings, but consensus, we have Judkins 47 overall rankings, and I've got him at 47 as well. So appreciate you, Mike. Adam needs to get his hearing checked because it was obvious what you said the whole time. You never cut out. Don't let him blame you. We appreciate it. Let's go out to do another one here. Let's go out to Dominic in Florida. What do you got for us?
Hi, I got a 0.5-point PPR, and of course I got Judkins in there, and I need two wide receivers and a flex. I have Judkins, and my wide receivers are McConkey, Tetairoa McMillan, George Pickens, and Deebo Samuel.
All right, 2 wide receivers and a flex. You got that, Adam? You need me to? I can type it out.
Yeah. So
it was Ladd, Pickens, Tet, Deebo, Judkins. Man, Judkins, and I understand it. I would go. Ladd's been interesting too because he's like the number 3 on his own offense, which is kind of crazy. I've got Ladd 45 this week overall.
He's got a good matchup against the Giants in the slot. So I think this could actually be a pretty good week for him. I know we have to downgrade him a little bit, and then it was Pickens, Tet.
Pickens and Tet. Tet has a really good matchup too. He needs 2 wide receivers and a flex, and Deebo.
All right, I would actually go Pickens, McConkey, and Tet.
Yeah, Pickens, McConkey, Tet. I've got Deebo. Deebo's really close though. I'm gonna be totally honest.
Yeah, I mean maybe once if McLaurin is officially ruled out, maybe you push him up.
That's what I was gonna say because right now I have him 53, but I could see him moving closer to like low.
I wish I had these problems.
Yeah, this is nice, Dominic. I will say wait on it because none of these guys are going tonight, but I like the initial Ladd, Tet, Pickens, but I think you could switch out. To me, who would you switch out out of the 2 for Deebo? Because I think it would be Pickens.
No, I don't think you
don't think so?
No, with no Lamb. I mean, and they're passing a lot. He's going to get a lot of volume.
I'm just worried about that.
Couldn't
You're right, though. I think it'll be close. I will bring him closer to George Pickens, though, in my rankings for Deebo if Terry's out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think AJ Terrell will probably still be out. They said he was like week to week with the hamstring injury.
So would you pull out then Tet for Deebo?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I figured. I knew. Look at us, best friends. I knew exactly where you were going with it, but. Appreciate that, Dominic. I do. These are nice questions today. Judkins is going to mess with a lot of people's lineups, it feels like. Don't you think?
Well, because a lot of people drafted him probably after round 10. So he wasn't a big part of your lineup decisions early on. I'm sure the first week he played, people said, okay, I think the report was he would play backup running back reps. And he was around, I think, 29% of the snaps, but he was more involved than we thought. And then obviously last week, a nice week for him. So now people are looking and go, yeah, I got to get this guy in my lineup somehow.
I've got one from Craig over here on X. Do I start Kenneth Walker tonight or Jalen Warren going up against the Vikings? I would go Walker.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too.
Yeah, I would definitely go Walker on that one. We got one here from Yvette. I have Xavier Worthy. Do you think he's going to be good to go this week? Ugh.
So
They
he put in a full
said-
practice
yeah.
yesterday. I'm a little concerned. I have him in 2 leagues, and I'm trying to fit. They're deep leagues, so I might be forced to play him in one. I don't really feel good about it. I think in a lot of situations, you're not going to play him. Again, we just don't know if he takes a big hit. Is he going to be in too much pain and can't continue? So I think you want a little more info on this. He did. Again, they listed him as a full participant in practice. That's a good sign. It doesn't mean, though, oh, yeah, he's good to go now. Everything's fine.
Well, I think they even said that he's going to be wearing like another brace or something like that.
Or harness or something. He's
Harness
probably
or
going to be
something
wearing
like
something.
that. Yeah. So it's looking more and more like he is trending towards playing. But like you said, Adam, just be a little bit careful about it. Even with that news, I still have him at consensus. Well, consensus at Fantasy Life at 70. And I have him at 71 overall.
I'm
for the
sure
overall rankings.
the reason why he's that low is that in the overall ranks.
Yeah, in the overall.
Okay.
Yeah, not wide receiver. No.
Yeah, he's probably right around in a wide receiver 3 area. I'd say like the 36 to 40 range this week.
Look at us. 30. I've got him at 36 right
But
now.
I think you still don't feel great about it.
No, you absolutely don't.
But I guess if Kansas City's going to put him on the field, they feel good enough. At the same time, though, they really need him badly. I mean, this offense looks atrocious right now.
Mm-hmm. I know. That's the one thing that you always worry about. You're like, okay, they are hurt, but they're not obviously hurt enough for them to hold them back. So they know that they can put him out there and hopefully be good to go. It's going to be a good game against what's the total on this one between Kansas City and Baltimore? I mean, it's going to be a great game.
48.5.
And we've talked about that Baltimore defense. Just not necessarily.
They faced the Bills and the Lions, though. But at the same time, they don't really have a pass rush right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, one of these teams is going to be 1-3, which is crazy to think about. But
they can still do it.
I think I'm less worried about the Ravens. Like if the Ravens fell to 1-3, I still think they probably win the division.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because look,
No,
the Bengals
I
are
get it.
2-1. The Steelers are 2-1. And does anyone believe in either of those teams? I'm going to say no. So if the Chiefs would be in more dire straits because the Chargers could potentially go to 4-0 this week. And they've already lost to the Chargers. So it's really more important for the Chiefs to get the win. I think the Ravens, even at 1-3, I would still say they win the division. I mean, losses to the Bills, Lions, and if they lost to the Chiefs, they can overcome that. I mean, you look at the schedule ahead. They have the Texans, Rams, Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals twice. I see a lot of wins in there for the Ravens ahead.
All right. We'll continue on here. That was the Fantasy Life Water Cooler. Appreciate everyone calling in. We'll continue to try and get to those phone calls. Definitely get into the questions over there on X. I see a lot of them coming in. So we appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. So we're going to try and get through as many of those. Got to talk, continue on. I want to go through cloaked identities. So we're going to go through names. I'm going to give you some of their stats and we'll see if you're starting them going into this weekend and see if you can guess them going into it. And then I see we will also talk Survivor. I know we didn't get to as many picks there as we wanted to. We're also going to do that here coming up next. It sure is. Hopefully everyone's having a great start to their Thursday. We're going into Cloaked Identities here, presented by Cloaked. Again, this segment is brought to you by Cloaked, your all-in-one solution for privacy, safety, and security. So if you don't remember this one that we did last week, I'm going to throw some maybe start-sit players at you here, but I'm going to give you their stats, basically, to see if you can correctly guess them, which makes it a little bit more difficult, I found. But I think you're still going to do well here, Adam, because you're always really good at these. And again, this is Cloaked here, Cloaked Identities here, presented by Cloaked. So let me go through this quarterback. You ready to go? Locked in?
Yes, quarterback.
Okay. Figured you're locked in. You're ready to go. Okay, this quarterback ranks 6th in designed rush attempts at 13%, averages 23.7 rushing yards per game. So this leads to fantasy goodness a little bit of the time, but their passing game is struggling on the other side. Passing game is struggling with only 178 passing yards per game, which is 28th. This quarterback right now is the QB 26 with 14.5 points per game. They thought it would be better. I'll say that. Or some thought it would be better.
Did he play all 3 games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking it
No,
would
no,
be
no.
someone.
It's someone that we like that was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, you're getting it. I can feel it.
Wait, what was the rushing?
So he's averaging 23.7 rushing yards per game. Designed rush attempts at 13%.
It cannot be.
Say it.
Michael Penix?
No. Bo Nix.
Oh, wow.
I know it's bad. That was difficult because it is really bad. I think you have to downgrade him. I know that maybe if you have him, you have to play him because of where he was going, but he's a QB2 right now. He is the QB 26 with 14.5 fantasy points per game. And again, the other side, their passing game is struggling. 178 passing yards per game, which is 28th in the NFL.
The matchup this week, though, at home against the Bengals, like, right, if there's any week that he gets going, you would think it's this week. But yeah, it's we always talk about that second year for these quarterbacks and how defenses can adjust, because Bo Nix had a really strong finish to the year last year. I had him on a team, and he was phenomenal, but the struggles have been real so far. He's missed a lot of wide receivers. He's had plenty of opportunities. Yeah, he just doesn't look the same. It's only 3 weeks, but it has not been what you expected if you drafted him. But I think this week, it's a key week. Like, it's the Bengals. This is a week that he has to bounce back. I think you have to have him as a top 12 quarterback this week.
Yeah, I've got him at QB 11. And it feels, I've got Daniel Jones ahead of him, though, which is crazy that we're talking about Daniel Jones like that, but that's what it has to be.
Oh, I agree. I mean, Daniel
him.
Jones is definitely top 12 right now, even this week against the Rams. And, we always say every year, it doesn't look like it. There's always quarterbacks that emerge off the waiver wire.
Every time.
Daniel Jones so far has been that guy.
Yep. We'll see if maybe
I will say I did see some very, very high bids on Jackson Dart last night.
Ooh, I already had him in a good amount of leagues.
Did you?
Waiting in the wings. Yeah, I was ready.
Wow. Okay.
Well, because my preseason bold call was that he's the waiver wire hero this year. I don't know if it's going to be that. It's such a tough schedule, but that was more for dramatic effect. But I'm excited to see it at least. We'll see if he's able to come in. But yeah, there were some high bids.
And I understand it. I mean, you take the chance. It's a guy that can run, so we know about those quarterbacks with the high rushing floor. And also, they will likely be playing from behind. He does have some weapons, get the ball to Neighbors. You got Scadabuso. I mean, it was so bad with Russell Wilson. Again, it's not the best offensive environment setup, but it's something that the Giants needed to do.
All right. And let's go through some Survivor. We'll do this while I'm doing these cloaked identities. It feels like a good week to take the Broncos at home going up against the Bengals. Like you said, feels like a get right game. They'll probably be one of the more popular picks in this one, right?
Yeah, I think you'll see Buffalo be a popular play. Obviously, some people might have used them already. Sometimes people want to save them. They're 16.5-point favorites at home against the Saints, so I think you'll see that. I think the Lions will be a popular play at home against the Browns.
The Packers.
I think the Packers too, yeah. I know you don't want to take, especially this early in the year, take a team on the road. Also, sometimes these island games, crazy things happen.
It can get weird.
Yeah, so I think people will look at them as well.
If you don't pick the Packers this week, I will say they are at home against the Bengals next week. Because you don't want to, sometimes you don't want to hold these really good teams too long, because then you look around and say, well, I should have just used one of these big favorites. But yeah, that's their next 2 weeks. Looks good for them.
Yeah. So I think I see some people, if you're trying to be contrarian in a massive pool, people saying the Texans. I can't do it.
I don't know about that.
I know the Titans have looked really bad, and you're probably never going to use the Texans again. They are 7.5-point favorites. The game total is 38.5. Yeah. I don't think the Texans should be favored by 7.5 over anyone. I'm sorry. With that offense, It
I do.
does.
I mean, I do
I mean,
like
they
him if
have
you want
faced.
contrarian. Yeah.
I mean, okay, losing to the Rams, and they've actually. It's the defense is not the problem because they've
Oh,
stayed
it's the offensive
competitive in
line.
every game. They lost by 5 to the Rams. They lost by 1 to the Bucks when they had the lead, and the Bucks scored in that waning seconds. And then they lost to Jacksonville last week, 17-10. So the defense has been fine. It's the offense is bad. I mean, to put up 10 against Jacksonville. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
not
think
good.
a lot of people in these large pools, you're trying to be different because you know if the popular plays go down, now you eliminate a lot of the pool and you survive. I don't think I can do it though. With the
I was gonna say, I
Texans,
think you should. I
I
think you should
can't.
blow one of your picks on them.
No, I'm
All
not
right,
going to do
fine.
it.
I've got another cloaked identity here. You ready? See if you can guess this one. This is a tight end. I'll give you that. This is a tight end. Notched a career high 17.6 fantasy points in week 3. And over the last 2 games, he's given us 25%, 22% target shares, even though he hasn't gone over or gotten to a 65% route participation.
Dalton Kincaid.
There we go.
That's the thing. See, so that's what I'm torn on because I feel like, all right, if he's out there, they're looking for him.
Yes.
It is risky though when you see those routes run; they're so low. And Buffalo tends to spread the ball around. You know, I like Dalton Kincaid. I like the talent. I had him in a lot of leagues last year, and it sunk me. I only have him in one league this year as a backup tight end. Actually, I think I have him in Njoku, which means should be probably starting Kincaid, right?
Yeah,
Most
this
weeks?
week for sure.
Again, the only thing I worry about with this week is what if they jump
They
out
get
to
out
a
to
huge
big
lead?
Well, you hope that he comes down with 2 touchdowns. It'd be
Yeah,
a huge
I mean, he
lead.
does have 2 touchdowns in the first 3 games, so he's healthy now. I mean, I think that's the big factor. He played with that knee issue last year, which was a problem, but you're definitely feeling better about Kincaid right now. But
He's
it's
my
it's
tight
still
end
though
10.
like look at the targets 4, 6, and 6.
Oh no, it's not.
If he
it's
didn't
not
have these 2
ideal.
touchdowns, we wouldn't really be talking about him, right?
Nope. No, we wouldn't. But he's still, you have to take it into consideration. And he's my tight end 10 on the week. David Njoku, tight end 15. So you're probably starting Kincaid over him.
Yeah, which means Njoku scores a touchdown this
Stop.
week, and
Get out of
Kincaid
here.
is
Why
3
do you
for
do
30.
this? Get out of here. You're so funny when you did. It's like, stop. He's going to be fine. All right. And then, like you said, though, the Bills are going to be favorites this weekend. If you want an easier, safe pick, nothing ever goes wrong when I say easy, safe pick, but Buffalo
I mean,
at home
do you
against the
really
Saints.
see the Bills losing to the
No,
Saints?
absolutely not.
But
What about
people-
a contrarian pick? Well, it's not really. I mean, I don't know what the spread is in the Patriots-Panthers game, but would you take the Patriots in that one? Patriots at home? It's not going to be as popular.
It will definitely not be popular. Patriots are favored by 5.5.
Mm.
Well, it
That could be a
depends. I
good
worry
one.
about them turning the ball over 5 times again.
Well, if they give it to Travion Henderson, maybe they won't do that. If they start Ramondre Stevenson, then maybe they will.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, the other team I think that people are going to pick is the Chargers.
Yes.
I know it's
don't
a
have
West Coast team
Mhm.
traveling to the East Coast, which usually is not ideal. You got a rookie quarterback making his first start. Chargers have been really good. I mean, the Chargers seem like this is a different Chargers team than years past.
It feels different this year for
Yeah,
sure.
they've had. I mean, even against Denver, they were behind most of the way. They
Mhm.
came back and won. They've got 3 wins in the division. So I think they're going to be a team that is popular as well. I think Buffalo and Detroit will be the 2 most popular. And then you'll see the Chargers in there. Again, I do see some people picking the Texans. They're going to look at it and say, it's not popular. It doesn't feel right, but this will probably be the only time you could use the Texans. And it's more picking on Tennessee and how awful they've been with Cam Ward at quarterback. So
I think we should each put in a pick for the Texans this week.
I don't think I can do it.
Okay.
I mean,
All
people
right.
might be right. They might win, and they might get a nice layup, and definitely don't have to worry about them the rest of the year. Because if you look at their
I
schedule,
was going to say, who do you like? They take on the Ravens. They take on the Seahawks, 49ers at home, then the Broncos, maybe Jacksonville, but you have to survive 2, 4, 5. So that's 6 weeks.
yeah,
That's
home
November.
against Jacksonville looks like the best spot. Home against the Cardinals or Raiders late in the year, but that's really late. I don't know. Yeah, this clearly looks like
It's tough.
the best spot to use the Texans this year. But
The Chargers look
I can't
good.
do it.
I know you can't. It's fine. Maybe I'll take one for the team. Probably not though, because
Do
we've
it.
got
So you
three.
get 2 out of 3
No,
eliminated.
get out of here. Get out of here. I will say, yeah, the Chargers, man, they look good. Looking through all their stats, too. I mean, the defense, again, looks really legit. They allowed the fewest points per game in 2024. I remember us talking about that, and now they're near the top of the league through 3 weeks. And yeah, they get to tee off against a rookie quarterback that hasn't seen. I mean, this is the first start for Jackson Dart. I know he's gone in there before, but it's way different here. So I don't know. Maybe the Giants are like ignited, right? They say, perfect
Could
quarterback.
be.
I mean, sometimes we've seen weirder things happen where teams just really rally and they say, all right, now we've got to change here. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. But again, that was Cloaked Identities here, brought to you by Cloaked, your all-in-one solution for privacy, safety, and security. We're going to continue on taking more questions here and going through the matchup notebook. I wanted to go through matchups to avoid, maybe matchups to highlight, some guys that have easier week 4s than others. We're going to give you those names here coming up next. Let's be real, you're here to win a fantasy championship, and guess what? You're not going to win playing it safe. You've got to go hard, and no one understands that better than Mike's Hard Lemonade. To succeed in fantasy, sometimes you have to take those bold risks. That's what we talk about every single day here on the show. You have to reach for the rookie. You have to make the blockbuster trade. You have to blow all of your fab on guys like Trey Benson, but your league mates might roast you in the group chat, but legends do not play scared. They go hard, just like Mike's Hard Lemonade. So go and crack open a cold Mike's kickback for a second. And remember, nobody makes lemonade like Mike's. Find Mike's nearest to you at www.mikeshard.com. Mike's is hard, so is prison. Don't drive drunk. Premium malt beverage with flavors, all registered trademarks used under license by Mike's Hard Lemonade Co., Chicago, Illinois. Oh, this is Fantasy Life on a Thursday, getting you ready for everything week 4, getting you ready for Thursday night football. Seeing a ton of questions coming in. So first of all, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for listening to us right here on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. See one here from, there it is. I always lose my spot. James asking that he needs a running back for this weekend, but he's got Kenneth Walker or Chuba Hubbard. Said he loves the show. Thanks, James. Where would you go with that, Adam? I think I have Walker slightly ahead.
Yeah, I would go Kenneth Walker as well.
I like that. A lot of Kenneth Walkers this week. I think,
I think people maybe are concerned with Charbonnet returning. What's the workload going to look like?
No, I mean,
Walker has looked better. The only concern I have is the short week. I don't know if they're going to maybe make it a split, but again, Walker has been more explosive.
Yeah, Walker, he definitely last week especially looked good for fantasy managers. So you were happy about that. Going through the matchup notebook, just kind of guys that maybe you want to try and avoid these matchups if you can. Sometimes we understand, though, that because we're talking about these players, because of where they were drafted, you can't necessarily avoid it, but at least we can highlight it for you. So I will say, David Montgomery, where do you have him this week? What are your expectations for him going up against the Cleveland Browns, who, again, that defense looks nasty, and they don't even look it. They are nasty. So we're looking at, of course, David Montgomery Jr. Gibbs was good for fantasy managers just a few days ago, and he had a really good fantasy performance. But this might be a tough one for him this weekend.
Yeah, he should be on the bench. I know that's hard for people to understand after they saw Montgomery go for 12, 151, and 2 touchdowns. But number one, he's losing work to Gibbs. He's basically getting 10 to 12 carries a week. If that's what you're getting against this Browns defense, you're in trouble. I think you're going to see Detroit's a smart team. So I don't think they're going to completely abandon the run, but I think they'll probably try it early to say, hey, we're a great offense. Let's see how good you guys are. And then if they get stymied, then you're going to see heavy passing and Gibbs heavily involved in the passing game. That's what Green Bay did last week. Like Jacobs was 16 for 30, and then Jacobs had 9 targets and 5 for 44. So Gibbs can gash him that way, which means it's not set up for David Montgomery. So it's not often you say that, a player coming off the game. And look, Montgomery is touchdown dependent. He has been, but more so this year because we're seeing, again, more Gibbs. Montgomery only has 6 receptions on the season and only 2 the last 2 weeks. Montgomery could easily score a touchdown this week. They could get near inside the 5, and he happens to be in on that series, and he scores on a 2-yard run, a 1-yard run. Because Detroit's good offensively, too, as much as we make acknowledgement of how good Cleveland's against the run. I mean, they haven't faced an offense like Detroit. I mean, this is clearly the best offense that they faced. I know the Bengals had Burrow in week 1, but the offensive line had issues. Baltimore, they held Derrick Henry in check. I mean, that's an impressive accomplishment. Jacobs has not been very efficient, but still 16 for 30, which is why I was on the under on his rushing yards. I got to see what the line is for Gibbs on rushing yards. You know what? That's interesting. I think they're going to put it.
Like,
I think they're gonna, the problem with Gibbs, though, is I'm afraid he could break off a long run. But Gibbs did not have a good game rushing-wise against Baltimore. And we know Baltimore is pretty good against the run as well. But, yeah, I'm not starting David Montgomery this week.
Yeah,
he's
my RB29.
63.5 rushing yards for Gibbs. And then 62.5 on draft. 62.5 on DraftKings. I lean the under. I don't know if I don't think I'm going to play it. But
if you were,
this Browns defense is for real. I mean, Gibbs
they've allowed the fewest rushing yards per carry. They're allowing 2.3, and they've held opponents to 65 rushing yards beneath expected 65.
I mean, Gibbs last week had 22 carries for 67 yards, just 3 yards a pop. So that's the only concern is if they give Gibbs that big of a workload, he could get there. But I can't see him getting 22 carries this week. I think he's going to be way more involved in the passing game.
Yeah.
Like, I'd feel better about his receiving yards, which are 26.5. I feel better about that because I think that's the way they're going to have to. I mean, look what Jacobs did last week. And Jacobs is not that much of he's not a huge pass catching back with the way they operate in that offense. I think they, especially towards the end of the game, they said, all right, we want the ball in Jacobs' hands. He's not running, so we'll get it to him in the passing game. And I think that's what Detroit will do with Gibbs. But they're such a confident team and they believe in their offense. I think they will try to run early.
Yeah, I think we see him out there, but you just have to be careful. That's why we say when we say matchups to avoid, it's if you can, or just limit your expectations. It's not sit him on the bench and play, whoever, a worse running back. You don't want to do that. But if you do have better options, that's the thing that we're trying to tell you here is that they did face Jacobs, Henry, Chase Brown, and they were holding them down. So it's going to be a good game no matter what. But yeah, just be careful with that one. I've got more that I want to go through. One quick question here from Michael. Dalton Kincaid, Harold Fannin, or Zach Ertz going into this weekend? I actually have Kincaid ranked the highest out of all those guys. We talked about these tight ends.
Yeah, I think it's Kincaid too. I think it's Kincaid. I think it's Kincaid.
Yeah. I don't like this matchup for Ertz. I'm going to be totally honest. He's actually someone that in these, we'll talk about him. I do not like Ertz going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe you have a different opinion, but let's break that matchup down and then break down Thursday Night Football. We're going to do all of that here coming up next. All right, Thursday Night Football coming up here. And for the Zach Ertz answer, by the way, I don't have him in a bad spot. Zach Ertz, I have it's tight end 12. That's what I just want to finish that conversation with. Or it's going again against the Falcons.
Yeah, maybe sees more targets if McLaurin's out. But yeah, I mean, that seems like a fair spot for him. Where's Travis Kelce? 15? I'm just kidding.
No.
He has not been good.
No, I know, but he's still tight end 10. It's gross. I don't like it.
What's wrong with Travis Kelce? You think this engagement is distracting him?
Don't do this. No,
I'm asking.
I think we saw the age cliff and he jumped over it. It doesn't look good.
I mean, they need him now more than ever, and he can't.
Yeah, but how long? We've been saying that for like 2 weeks. We've been saying that for 2 years. Like, they need him now more than ever. Yeah, it's just, hey, listen, I still have him as tight end 10, so maybe he could do it this week.
That's the state of tight end.
That's how bad
also,
it is.
I'm seeing here Justin Fields will practice today, but he's still in concussion protocol.
Okay. But the practice portion I feel like is
a good sign.
Is good because they do it in phases, right? That's what we've talked about before. So at least it's better than him not practicing.
I actually need Justin Fields to play.
Who's your backup?
Well, one league I have him and Trevor Lawrence, so I don't want to play Trevor Lawrence. The other one I have him and Caleb Williams, so I'll just roll with Caleb.
Maybe Trevor Lawrence could get good.
When? We've been saying this for 5 years.
No, I know. That's why it's funny. The people in the cars, they're just like, we tried to tell you, don't do this. I'm like, I know. I just got into it. You know who has looked good, though? Quietly? Sam Darnold. Not bad. Not bright lights or anything going on with him, but because that's when we see it crumble, unfortunately, for the Minnesota Vikings.
You just gave him the kiss of death for tonight.
No, what are you talking about? He has looked good. He has.
Okay, Saints and Steelers defense.
Okay. Do you want him to perform badly? He's looked good with the teams that he's been given. How's that?
Yes, he's looked good so far.
Since the start of last season, he's 5th in yards per pass attempt, 5th in touchdown rate, 6th in passer rating. And he was close
here's
to,
the
again,
thing.
I get the Saints, but he was close to perfect against the Saints.
On this Seattle team, he doesn't need to do what he did with Minnesota. We all know he was not going to come close to the numbers he put up with Minnesota. He really needs to just be a game manager. I mean, he's had 2 games of 23 pass attempts or fewer.
Mhm.
So, yeah, they just don't – they need him to not turn it over, just run the offense, especially with as good as Seattle's defense is.
And he's been a great game manager so far. I'll just say that. Jackson, I mean, here's the thing. In this game, you're playing Trey Benson, you're playing Jackson Smith-Njigba, you're playing Trey McBride. I think Kenneth Walker, depending on who else you have, I think Kenneth Walker could have a good night tonight too. I think the big question has been Zach Charbonnet and if you should play him or not. And I do think he's borderline, just coming off his injury. But like you said, it's a short week for this team, so you could see him get a little bit involved.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the big question. It's been a perplexing backfield, and last week it was easy because Charbonnet was out. We've seen the first 2 games that Charbonnet played, 12 carries and 15. The one thing is he is not involved in the pass game. He doesn't have a target in his 2 games. So that lowers the floor for him. You really need him to get a touchdown. And he hasn't been good. 27 carries, 57 yards, 2.1 a pop. Walker's been better.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's hard to anticipate what this workload is going to look like. But again, we've got all of our rankings updated at fantasylife.com, so you can go and check those out. Torrey Horton, 2 touchdowns. Who says no? Not you. 2
Well,
touchdowns.
he had 2 last week, so
Hey, why not? Why not just should we call him tomorrow? Or no, we have to call him today. Dang it.
No, not on game day. He said no.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Friend of the show, obviously. I do, for what it's worth, I do like Torrey Horton. I know that when you look at just the targets and everything else, you're like, is this a little bit fluky? But I still think he's someone that you should have gone and picked up off the waiver wire if he's still there. I still like it. But they've got some injuries tonight for this team, so I kind of, for deeper leagues, maybe Torrey Horton is a play.
Yeah, or he could surpass maybe Cooper Kupp at some point.
I think he does that eventually. I really like it. Who are you taking tonight, by the way?
Seattle.
Yes. Go Hawks. All right. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us here tonight. Enjoy the game tonight, and we will be back same time here tomorrow. We'll see you then.